If you're starting an SMMA or you've just started one or you're at the start of the journey, then this video is going to help you understand something that I wish I knew when I started one. You've probably got all these ideas as to what your SMMA should look like. You've got these models of perfection where you know exactly where you want to be, right? You want to be able to probably travel and go wherever you want. You want to make 10 grand a month. You've been watching Iman Gadji. Maybe you're also a fan of Hamza, and it's finally your time to break out and become a top 1% man, at least financially, with this new business model. So my name's Charlie. I make these YouTube videos to help people predominantly with client acquisition, and I also use this channel as like a way to document my journey to 8 figures, which is my goal right now, which we should be able to achieve hopefully by the end of the year. In this video, we're going to talk about this idea, and it's around the premise of mess. And it's a way to think. It's not really a specific like tangible strategy, but it's a paradigm. It's a way of perceiving your SMMA. If you lock into this paradigm, things are going to get a lot easier for you. When you are starting, you need to stop behaving like you're already at 6 figures. When you're starting your agency for the first time, you want to create mess. So what people expect from an SMMA is a nice, clean business model. Now, the thing with SMMA is it can become really clean, and you can build it to be really scalable, really efficient, and really simple to run. However, when you're starting, you need to make a mess. So what I mean by this is chaos is where potential manifests. And if you try to have too much order, then you're not going to have any room for an introduction of variables that could actually help you grow the company itself. So when I started my first social media marketing agency, I tried my best to make things as efficient and streamlined as possible. When you're starting, you shouldn't focus on systems. This is a really controversial thing to say because everyone loves systems and everyone seems to constantly say systems. The thing is in business is we have these things that I call action brackets, right? Little brackets. What an action bracket is it means that certain actions or certain modes or methods of behavior are relevant and appropriate to certain levels of success. So if you're at 6 figures and you're making 10 grand a month or 50 grand a month, right, then it makes sense for you to start building systems to scale. However, if you're not at 6 figures, if you're just getting started, it makes no sense for you to build systems. You can only build a system around a model or a specific task or workflow that actually works. And the chances of you finding something that works are extremely slim at the beginning. So let me give you an example of this. Onboarding systems, right? To me, it makes absolutely no fucking sense to build an onboarding system until you've got a client, because you might think you can predict what you need from a client to get them on board, but ultimately I can promise you that the first onboarding system you build is going to be wrong. The second and the third and the fourth are going to be a little bit better, but they still won't be anywhere near perfect. Once you've signed like 5 to 10 clients, you're going to have a really good idea as to what an onboarding system needs to look like. But I just don't understand this whole like systemization of a business that doesn't even exist yet. You have to understand that profit is company. When people start their agency, they start with a website, right? Then they get a logo, then they build some fancy like fucking graphics. I saw this video of this guy saying like, here's how to start an agency in a certain amount of time. It's like here's how to start an agency in 2 hours. Now, I'm not one to beef with anyone, but the video basically revolved around how to build a website, how to build a logo, how to create some social channels. That, my friends, is not a fucking agency. You have not created an agency, you've created some fucking graphics. Like, you have an agency when you have a client paying you. And even then, you don't have an agency, you're a fucking freelancer. So a lot of agency owners and these YouTubers, we need to get off of our high horses, because until you have a small team and a set of clients that are paying you and some systems that actually make your business routinely run, then you have an agency. But if you're starting and you've got one client on a free trial, you don't have an agency. Just because you have a website and a fancy logo, it doesn't make you an agency owner. So one of the things that I learned really early on is that a lot of my motivation as an agency owner was born from the fact that like I could identify as an agency owner. And that was why a lot of my work was done, was so I could tell other people around me that I run a business. This was a massive hindrance to me because I gratified that portion of my unconscious motivation by calling myself an agency owner when I wasn't one yet. And so for probably about 6 months, I massively stunted my growth because I was driven by this identity thing where I was like, I want to be an agency owner. I want to run a business. I want to be an entrepreneur, essentially. Just building a website and building a logo and stuff, it doesn't make you an entrepreneur. It doesn't make you an agency owner. It makes you a glorified freelancer. But the problem with this is that if you build a website and you get a free trial client and you start telling everyone you're an agency owner and you've got an agency, then it saps you of this internal drive, because ultimately as humans, we are driven by identity and we are driven by status. And calling yourself an agency owner without a myriad of clients is kind of like telling everyone you've got a girlfriend when you bought someone's OnlyFans. What I mean is you're receiving gratification from something that doesn't even exist. You can tell everyone like, oh yeah, I've got this girlfriend, like we have a long distance relationship, like I talk to her every day, we really love each other. If you're just following someone's OnlyFans, that's not a real relationship, but you're gratifying your identity. And what that then does is it strips you of your motivation to go and actually find a real girlfriend. And the same thing is true with starting an agency, where you build a website, you get a fancy logo, you get some fucking shit, whatever that looks like. And then you're like, oh yeah, I've got an agency, look at my website, this is my social media marketing agency. It's like, no, it's not. not. It's a fucking website and it's an Instagram account with 40 followers. Stop telling everyone you have something you don't have, because deep down you know you don't have it, because you need to ask yourself what's more important, people's perception of your business or your business, because they're not the same fucking thing. So I learned this really early on, that like making a mess is important, and this comes back to this whole idea of chaos, right? You first of all need to understand what a system even is, because most people don't understand the true nature of a system, right? A system is not a workflow or a process. Those are two very different things. A system is like a predictable set of methodologies by which an output is manifested from an input and feedback is processed through the system. That's what a system is. If you just have an onboarding form, that's not a system. You don't have an onboarding system, you have an onboarding process. But even then, when you're starting, it doesn't make any sense to build all these fancy systems. It's like, oh, I'm building an outreach system. It's like, you can't systemize what doesn't already work. What you're doing when you're building an outreach system is creating a load of mess and chucking spaghetti against a wall to see what sticks. And that's basically what you need to do. And if you try to start your agency, you have to start it in a different way to how you finish it. So if your goal is to get to 6 figures and go and sit on a beach in Malaga somewhere and be able to travel anywhere you want and achieve financial freedom, your business will look totally different at that point than it does at the beginning. And everything that you have at the beginning will massively shift and change. You just need to create a mess. You need to accept the fact that for probably about 6 to 12 months, your business is going to be a mess, your routine is going to be a bit of a mess, and you need to try to avoid keeping everything really neat and tidy and clean, because ultimately, like, all of the potential that you can get and all the best ideas you have will come from just a massive pile of mess. Now, I'm not saying that you want to just have like a completely messy business, but what I am saying is you want to let go of this perfect idea that you need to have a perfect set of systems at the beginning when you're building your agency. If you're orderly like I am, if you've got this conscientious personality, you'll want to do things in a linear order, where it's like, okay, website first, so clients know who I am. LinkedIn profile second, so then that's that. Then I need to create my logo. Then I need to do my Instagram profile. Then I need to do my Facebook. And then once I've done that, I need to create an onboarding form and learn and spend 3 months learning Facebook ads and 2 months learning Go High Level. And then I can start doing outreach. It's like, no, you want to just start doing outreach as soon as you possibly can. This is something I learned starting my second business, Imperium Acquisition. My business partner and I had this idea, but we were like, well, why don't we teach people our internal acquisition systems and sell like a program? And then literally like within the next day after having that idea, we started sending cold emails. We had no domain, we had no website, nothing. It was just, we just created so much fucking mess you wouldn't even believe. Out of all of that mess came some variables and some ideas and some discoveries that ultimately we turned into order. So you can convert chaos into order. If you have too much order, you can't have any chaos, which means there's no growth potential. Ultimately, if you want to run a 6 or 7 figure business, you need to stop trying to build your business at the beginning like a 6 or 7 figure business. Because I can tell you now, this is what people try and do with my company, with Imperium Acquisition. So I've become aware recently of a few people trying to copy us, right? And they want to have the same sort of, traffic channels, the same sort of team size, the same sort of product, the same sort of, people are trying to copy us basically, which is fine. But what I'm noticing is like, they're copying what they see now, but what they need to do is they need to go back to the birth and genesis of the business model itself to build it properly. It's kind of like if you're trying to build like a Lego house, just having the house, trying to copy that is going to be pretty bloody difficult if it's a big house, right? So you want to start and look at what did they do at the very beginning? Like, what was the baseline foundation of this? Okay, that's really what I know. There's no real roundabout way of summarizing this, but I wanted to make this video because people struggle with this stuff, and the main thing people struggle with is that sort of identity thing and telling everyone they've got an agency when they don't. It's like people that put CEO in their bio when they haven't even got a client yet. Do you know what I mean? And if that's you, then I understand why you've done that, but ultimately by doing that, you're sapping yourself of this drive vacuum, if you'd like, that you've got in your subconscious mind that you want to grow, and you're telling everyone. So create some problems. All right, if you are struggling to acquire clients, there's a link you can click in the description. It's basically a video of me explaining how we could help you get clients. I don't care if you click it or not. It's just, we do it on a pay and results basis. You can check it out if you want. I really don't mind. You can click it if you want to. It's up to you. It's not like a free training. It's a funnel with a link to book a call for full transparency, right? Also, if you enjoyed the video, subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Cheers.